Hey, everybody. I want to show you one other technique that is really useful for marketing your brand when you're first starting out, and that is using webinars. What are webinars? Think of them as like conference calls, except that you can show images, you can speak directly to your computer camera, you can show a PowerPoint presentation. So it's a teleseminar, it's a conference call plus images. The reason I love webinars so much is because as you're starting to build your audience, it allows you to connect with people in a way that you couldn't otherwise. Twitter is great, LinkedIn is great, blog posts are great, but you're only holding people's attention for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute. With a webinar, you get to present information, whether in the form of an actual presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, or just doing a Q&A for up to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And that level of engagement with somebody is incredible. So if somebody is first discovering you and they want to learn more about what you know and your services, this is an incredible way to take a casual observer and turn them into a fan. At the end of a webinar, you can mention your consulting services, and the amount of interest you'll be able to drum up is incredible. Best of all with webinars, there are tools where you can host one absolutely for free. I'm going to show you exactly how to do a free webinar. The other thing to mention with them is that if you're just starting out, you can get hundreds of people on a webinar. You can get hundreds of people listening to you. And even if only a small fraction of those people convert and end up purchasing your consulting services or a consultation packet, that's a lot of people right off the bat. You don't need a huge audience to do this. All you need to do is to present on a topic that is interesting to people. People don't have to know who you are. You just have to have a good pitch. So let's get started. In order to host a free webinar, Google has very robust software called Google Hangout. And let's begin right here. Let's say you're on the homepage of Google. You're signed into your Google account. Go up here and click on Google+. Okay, so here you are at your home. Go up here on Home and click on Hangouts. Go up here to Hangouts on Hair. Video Hangouts are something a little bit different. And create a Hangout on Air. You can do two different types of Hangouts on Air. The first is that you're broadcasting right now at this very second. The second type is that you're going to do it later. Well, let's give our Hangout a name, and you want to have your brand in there, and you also want to mention what it is you're talking about. Let's say I'm going to give a webinar on how to finish your dissertation. That's my brand. It's about dissertation consultation. So I'll say something like, how to finish your dissertation in 6 months. And then tell people what it's about section. Just give 2 sentences about what you'll be speaking on. In this session, I will break down the steps to finishing your dissertation in only 6 months. And up here, you'd want to mention your brand like the thesis expert, how to finish your dissertation in 6 months. You can also just have Q&As, the thesis expert, Q&A session, and you tell people, I'm just going to do a Q&A. Now, if you click on later, you can choose the exact date that you will host this. I recommend this method, so you could choose to have a webinar a week in the future, and then you promote it. You promote your webinar on Facebook groups, on LinkedIn groups, on Twitter, on your own blog, all those social media platforms we talked about in previous sessions. For the purposes of this experiment, to show you how Google Hangouts work, I'm just going to do one right now. So let's click on Now, and we're going to make this public so that it can go out to anyone who wants to view it. Click on Share. Okay, the thesis expert, how to finish your dissertation in 6 months. Well, what we want, you can do a lot of things to affect what this looks like. You can go over here, you can edit the event, you can change what the formatting looks like, all that. And up here on the top, this is the link that you're going to share with people. So if this were hosted in the future, you would share this link with people and tell them what time your event is going to be at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And the great thing about Google is that it will automatically convert the time of the event to wherever you are in the world. So you don't have to worry about time zones or anything like that. Take that link, share it with people, and at the time of the event, they'll come to this page. And when you start to host and share the event, it'll automatically direct them to where they want to go. Now, how do you do the video thing? Come up here on the right side of the screen, and down here, you'll see something that says Start a Video Hangout in the lower left-hand side. Hi, Michael. Get started by calling or messaging a friend below. We are going to have a video hangout. Okay, so to get going with your video hangout, click here on Video Call, and this will make it video enabled. Wait for it to load for a second. Okay, and there I am in the back of the screen. You can see me. This is the permanent link that you can share with people if they were late to the initial invitation, and it will get them started right away. I'm not going to include anyone else. All right, so here I am. You can see me right here. This is how you can do the Google Hangout. Now, you can just do this right here where you're talking to the screen saying, hello, everyone. I am a handsome expert who will talk about how to finish a dissertation, blah, 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 blah. And you can talk, and that's fine with some formats, but it can get a little bit boring after a while, and you want to engage with your audience, especially if you're doing a Q&A. You're taking their questions. Up here on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see a chat function. And on the right side, as people are talking, they will be able to chat, and they will be able to talk to you as you're giving information. And that's great, because then you can take their questions, you can hear what they have to say, and you can connect with your audience much better. A couple of other things with the settings. You can invite people. Okay, so that's a great thing. If you're just doing face-to-face, you can have a webinar this way. You can go on for 5, 10, 20 minutes. You can answer people's questions. You can give them information, and you're good to go. But here's what I like to do. Here's what I found is quite useful. I like to show people information. I like to give them something. And the easiest way I found to do this is to have a PowerPoint presentation. And on that PowerPoint presentation, I give them some basic information. You can go on for 10, 20, 40 minutes as long as you want. These Google Hangouts will actually record for up to 8 hours, which is crazy. And after you're done giving them the information, then you can do a Q&A. Let me show you how you can do that. Up here on the left side of the screen, there's a screen share button. Here you can choose which one of your windows you want to share. I'm going to share this. This is a PowerPoint presentation that I created. It's in the background, and it's just a window that I opened. And when I share that, what you can see on the lower right-hand side of the screen is my PowerPoint presentation, which is right here. I made this in a 16:9 format, kind of a widescreen thing. Let me show you the basic format that I use when I am doing a webinar or just giving information. I have a lot of slides, but you only need about 5 or 10. And let me show you what you can use as the most simple way possible. Let's say mine was how to turn your academic knowledge into a profitable consulting business without any startup costs. So I have my title slide here. I say what the webinar is about. Then I talk about myself. I just have a picture. I say the things that I do, why I have experience that can help you solve this problem, and why I'm a guy you should listen to. Then I tell them the things that you're going to learn. I just mention, here are the things that you'll learn during this time so you know what you're going to come away with. Sometimes people can drop off these webinars, and if they know right in the beginning that they're going to walk away with good information, that'll help them stick around. Then I talk about what are the problems that are happening? What are the problems that people need to overcome? Here I mentioned that the PhD job market stinks, but I have information that will help you. Then I talk about my solution to this problem. My solution was to do these specific things, and because I did these things, I was able to overcome this problem. Then I like to tell lots of stories. I like to give real-life examples of other people who solved this problem using this method I'm describing. So there's a person who has a story that I mention, and these are the things that she did, and because she did these things, she was also to overcome this problem. People love stories. People love stories because it takes the theoretical and it makes it practical, and I try to use stories as much as possible. Then I go into the specifics of my method, how do you use my method, and how do you go about doing these things. This is the pivot. If you have a consulting business, Part of why you're doing a webinar is you're giving away good free information to people. And if people only watch your webinar and they never interact with you further, they're still the better for it by having listened to you. But at the end of a webinar, if you have a consulting business, you want to promote them. And a great way to pivot from giving them free information and going into a pitch is tell people, do you want to grow your business even faster? Do you want to get your thesis done even faster? Do you want to yada, yada, yada? What you're saying here is the free information I gave you is good information and it will help you. The problem is when you're starting out, it's hard to know how to apply it. If you don't have someone to guide you and to teach you, there's a lot of fumbling around, there's a lot of trial and error, and you're wasting months and months, if not years of your time trying to figure it out. However, there is a much faster way where you can shrink those months or years down into weeks or even days. The way you do that is take my method. Here's my product, here's my consulting package, whatever. And you tell people, if you use my consulting, then you're going to save an enormous amount of time and money. And that way you're not being salesy, you're not scheming, you're not tricking people. You're just being honest that there's a fast way and there's a slow way. And a lot of people prefer the fast way. They can tell the information you gave them is good and they want to know what that is. And then you tell them, okay, go to this website and you can learn more about my consulting. You tell them about your consulting. You tell them why your consulting will help them, why it will save them money, why it's a proven system, why people have gone through it and they'll be able to benefit and rock it through much faster. This link could be your free 20-minute demo, and tell them I'll give you a free 20-minute session and you can find out later or not if you want to continue forward with me. And then after you give your pitch, then you have your Q&A. Then you answer whatever questions it is that people have. So those are the basics. And then just as you're finishing up your webinar, all you do is just say stop, and that will end the presentation. And that's it. You'll end the broadcast when this is all done, and this will give you the basics on getting a webinar going. And this was a fantastic way to grow your audience when you're first starting out.